Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. So right now it is Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 at 6:22 p.m. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bagawan Soenarjono. I'm a student at IPMI International Business School, and for this video, this is gonna be for the midterm exam on research methodology presentation, which was lectured by Dety Nurfadilah. So let's begin our presentation. Okay, so the chosen article that I chose for this research, for this findings, is the customers' perceived values and dining choices through mobile apps in Indonesia, which was made by Adnan Muhammad Shah, Siang bin Yan, Shed Asad Ali Shah, and Mudassar Ali. So So let's look at so before we analyze this article, let's look at the objective first of all. so, so this is the objective of the research. This research, so this study investigates the impacts of different components of mobile dining on customers' perceived value, which leads to actual purchase intentions. Furthermore, this study examines the moderating effect of the restaurant type. So we can find this objective of the research. Normally, we found this on the abstract of the research. So let's begin with the first question. So the first one is explain the hallmark of science in the study and the research gap of the study. So this was asked to identify the research gap of the study. So based on the evidence that I found in the journal, I can conclude with this research gap. So mobile devices are the key sources with which Indonesians carry out m-commerce. Mobile and telecom companies have been trying to shift people's shopping methods, interactions, and even lives by introducing unique products and services in a more effective and efficient manner. For example, mobile shopping, mobile banking, and etc. Smartphones, like we have here, smartphone apps usage and understanding consumer behavior have become more critical for managers of different types of restaurants. So, what's my analysis of this research gap? So, so we can find this on the abstract. So, the latest mobile technology may shape consumers' motivations by allowing them to order a variety of foods using smartphone apps. So, in this case, they're going to analyze it from the Zomato apps. So let's move on to the next question. I'm sorry. So the next question is explain the literature review used in this study. So we normally found this on chapter 2 on the literature review section, or in my case, the research background, I think, and the theoretical background. So this is the evidence on the journal. The first one we have is the motivation behind using mobile technology for dining. Mobile restaurant purchase technology is a location-based online information system, or IS, that provides online restaurant-based information support for mobile devices via mobile websites, smartphone apps, and mobile data. The second one we have is the SOR framework. This framework was initially proposed by Woodward in 1929 and was established based on the traditional stimulus response theory. This theory describes how environmental stimuli are translated into consumer behavior, for example, purchase behavior, and how people make rational decisions. This was taken from an article made by Jacoby in 2002. So, what do I find in this literature review? So, this literature review is very clear and is very detailed because they have the source of the previous studies for different types of literature review. So, the next one. So the third one we have is explain the types of variables and indicators used in this study. So let me stop share this and let me share the research met, the design. Hang on. Now, hang on. Let me go ahead. No. All right, so let me zoom out to get a full picture. So I hope everyone can see this research design because it's in a horizontal. So let's analyze each of these this variable. So let me zoom in to get a better view. Okay, so I found five variables in this research design. The first one we have is the dependent variable, which is the primary interest of this research. Yes, so in this case, the dependent variable is the purchase intention because as you can see, this is connected between this is well connected between each other variables. The second one we have is the independent variables, which are the factors that affected the dependent variables. So so in this case, the independent variables can be found right here. So I don't know if you guys probably see this. So the first one, so divided into three sections. The first one we have is mobile EWOM. The second one we have is the system quality, and the third one we have is the overall restaurant image, which in each of these sections have three others, which in mobile EWOM contains information quality, source credibility, and review balance. The second one we have the system quality. We have the navigation system, the compatibility, and the ease of use. And finally, the overall restaurant image, which consists of food quality, cuisine quality, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, and service quality. The third variable we found is the moderating variable, which is the restaurant type. So what is the moderating variable? So moderating variable is a strong contingent effect on the variable and dependent relationship. So in this case, the moderating variable is already shown here in the research design, which is the restaurant type, either fast or versus casual. The next one we have is the mediating value, which is the perceived value. So what does it mean? So this variable links the independent and dependent variables and whose existence explains the relationship between the two variables. So as you can see, the perceived value is connect is is affected with the moderating value and the independent variable. And finally, and the final variable we have is the control variable, which is the age, gender, and income. So this variable is not of the insurance study's aims, but it's controlled because it could influence the outcomes of this result. So let me stop share and return back to the slides. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one we have is explain the principles of wording on the questionnaire. So the evidence, so let's go back. So let's stop share and go back to our journal. So let me go to page, just give me a moment. So right. So we start here. So this is the general informations, the stand the no, the original general informations of the respondents. You know, from the age, gender, income, education, and the years of experience using the mobile shopping. And let's go to here we go. So as we can see, this questionnaire is divided into several sections. So I found this I found the questionnaires to be very unique because as we know, this questions is based on the person's experience on using this type of mobile app. In this case, the X app represents the X app represents the Zomato apps. Now they're also using a positive statement so that it will get a positive review. So let me show you an example. So the example question that on the positive statement is this one, the I perceive from the review valence, where this question is where this statement is, I perceive positive reviews on X, which is helpful to place an online order. So this says, so as you can see, it says positive reviews, which means this will get either a positive statement on this analysis. So this questionnaire is using a Likert scale. So as you can see from this here, the results of the measurement model with measurement scale strongly disagree or agree 1 to 7 scale. Normally, a Likert scale would be a 1 to 5, but in some cases, there's a 1 to 7 scale. So in this case, they're using the 1 to 7 scale. So let's go back. So based on this research, we can see that the questions used in the questionnaire were based upon the respondents' personal experience when using the Zomato apps. So think of it this way. I mean, we use Zomato apps and we normally do like a survey. So this survey helps to understand from our point of view, our personal experience on using this certain type of app. So like I mentioned before, this is also using a Likert scale with a scale between 1 to 7, which is strongly disagree and agree, because normally a Likert scale would be 1 to 5. So it depends on the research. So let's move on. Wait. All right, so the next one we have is explain the population and sampling method in this study. So here's the evidence that I collected. Data from the abstract. Data were collected via an online questionnaire survey from 351 individuals in the city of Jakarta, Indonesia, who actually used mobile apps to order food online. Then, data analysis was carried out using structural equation modeling. And also, as another statement here, the data collection process lasted for 96 days, or from 23rd March to 29 June 2018. So, so the population here is people of Jakarta who lives in Jakarta. So people who lives in Jakarta because Jakarta is the capital city, and also who actually used mobile apps to order food online. So normally, when we want to distribute questionnaires, we have to think of the population. Who do we have to give it to? What specific? So in this case, this questionnaire was distributed to individuals who live in the city of Jakarta, Indonesia. That's the first one, and who actually use mobile apps to order foods online. And also, they were also given, and also it's the duration of how long the data collection was processed. In this case, 96 days. So the collection method used in this research is using the primary data in which they got the source directly from the response from the respondents. If this is if it is a secondary data, then it's from a source like from other or from articles. So normally many researchers use primary data to get the sources from the respondents immediately, because so anyway. So next one we have here is explain the validity and reliability along with the hypothesis testing. So let's go back to our journal. I'm sorry, everyone. All right, so none. Yeah, all right, here we go. So let's look at the hypothesis first of all. All right, so let's start from the first hypothesis development. The first one is mobile electronic word of mouth. So this consists of three hypotheses. The first one we have is the information quality of mobile EWOM is positively related to the perceived value. The second one we have is the source credibility of mobile EWOM, and is positively related to the perceived value. And finally, review valence of mobile EWOM is positively related to the perceived value. So let's look at the diagram. So as you can see, hang on, where, all right, so we must see if this, so sorry if this is not very horizontal, the design. So as you can see, we need to see, so this research wants to find out if there is a positive relationship between this information quality and the perceived value. And it's the same thing you see for this, for the navigation system, compatibility, and the ease of use. And also the overall restaurant image, which consists of food quality, cuisinaire, and service quality. So, all right, so this is the system quality. So the second, the next hypothesis we got is the navigation system has a positive impact on the perceived value. The next one, compatibility has a positive impact on the perceived value. And finally, perceived use, perceived ease of use has a positive impact on the perceived value. So so this research wants to find out if the independent variable have a significant positive impact to the perceived value. So this, and then the third one, we have the overall restaurant image, where the hypothesis consists of food quality has a positive impact on the perceived value. The second one, the cuisinaire's quality has a positive impact on the perceived value. And finally, service quality has a positive impact on the perceived value. Now let's move on to the fourth one, which is the perceived value, which I've explained earlier, which is the mediating variable. So let's look at the hypothesis. So in this one, there's only one, which is perceived value has a positive impact on the customer's purchase intention, which the customer's purchase intentions is the dependent variable, while the perceived value is the mediating. So the next one we have is the moderating effect of restaurant type, which was the moderating variable. So this consists of several hypotheses. The first one is a restaurant type moderates the effect of information quality on perceived value. The next one, a restaurant type moderate the effects of source credibility of perceived value. The third one, we have a restaurant type moderates the effect of review valence on perceived value. So the next one we have is, and then we have a restaurant type moderates the effect of the navigation system on the perceived value. A restaurant type moderates the effect of compatibility on perceived value, and a restaurant type moderates the effect of perceived ease of use on perceived value. So the next one we have a restaurant type moderates the effect of food quality on perceived value. A restaurant type moderates the effect of the cuisiner's quality on perceived value. And finally, a restaurant type moderates the effect of service quality on perceived value. And the final hypothesis we have is a restaurant type moderates the effect of a perceived value and purchase intentions. So let's go to the results of this hypothesis. All right, okay, here we go. So the hypothesis testing results are shown in this table right here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, this table right here, table 4. So as we can see, not all the hypothesis made by the research is not supported. Why? Because let's look at this one here. So P have to be more than zero point 0.1. And then, so as we can see here, not all meets the expected the real, now the normally the expectation that we got is that all of them will have a positive impact, but in reality we can see that hypothesis 1 alpha, which talks about hypothesis 1 alpha, hang on, which is the information quality of mobile EWOM is positively related to the perceived value, and it's not fully supported. The next one that's not fully supported is H2B and 2C, which is and the one that's not fully supported, not fully supported is H3 Bravo. And then we have the next one. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, here we go. So H5 Alpha, H5 Bravo, H6 Bravo, H6 Charlie, and H67 Bravo is not fully supported with the expected hypothesis. So, as we know, based on these, we know that nearly half of the, I mean, probably nearly half, so nearly half of this is fully, nearly half of this is not fully supported on the expected hypothesis. So let's go back to our slides. So based on, so, oh, so based on these hypotheses, we can see that the hypotheses were based on previous research studies. So previous research studies have conducted this hypothesis, have conducted several hypotheses. And then after doing the testing, we can see that several hypotheses are not fully supported with the expected one. Okay, let's move on. And then finally, is this the final one? I think so. And then finally, we have to explain the contribution of this study. So here are the evidence. So normally we would find this at the end, at the results. So we found several. So I found several evidence on the journal so far. The first one we have is this study is among the first in the mobile commerce research that studies the impacts of mobile electronic word of mouth or EWOM system quality and overall restaurant image on dining choices by considering actual mobile shoppers. So they find that one of these this so this study indicates that this is the very first in the mobile commerce research that studies the impact of this EWM system quality and overall restaurant image on the dining choices by considering actual mobile shoppers. The next that they found is this study extends the SOR model to examine the impact of the mobile environment-based characteristics on the perceived value that leads to purchase intentions. The final one the third one that they discovered is the current study examines whether the relationships that are discussed early on differ based on the restaurant type. So the contribution of this study that they found is this study proposed an empirically investigated and integrated SOR model that explains the key factors that influence customers' actual dining choices across different restaurant categories. So this so what I found in this article is that this is the first ever in the research of mobile commerce that they discovered something new. The very first one to research the impact of EWM, system quality, and overall restaurant image on dining choices by considering actual mobile shoppers. So that's it from me, and thank you so much. And I do apologize if there's any mistake, and to any and if you are the creator of this article, don't worry. I am just reviewing this is for my midterm exam. So thank you so much, and I hope you find it very useful. So thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye, and stay safe, stay safe, everyone.